Tissues of the body. Body organs are made of four main tissues. Epithelial tissue may be simple epithelium formed of one layer of cells. Stratified epithelium formed of several layers. Glandular epithelium possesses secretory activity. NEURO-EPITHELIUM is specialized for perception of stimuli. Myoepithelium possesses contractile activity. Connective tissue consists of cells, fibers, and matrix, classified according to the nature of the matrix into general connective tissue, which may be loose or dense, and special connective tissue, which includes cartilage with rigid matrix, bone with calcified matrix, blood with fluid matrix, and hemopoietic tissues. Muscular tissue is formed of three types of muscles: striated voluntary skeletal muscle, striated non-voluntary cardiac muscle, non-striated non-voluntary smooth muscles. Nervous tissue is formed of neurons, which are composed of nerve cells and nerve fibers. There is also supporting cells called neuroglial cells and nerve endings. Epithelial tissue. General characteristics. Structure. Epithelial tissue is formed of crowded cells with very little intercellular substance in between. Epithelial tissue is not penetrated by blood vessels or lymph vessels, but only nerve fibers can penetrate. Epithelial tissue is separated from the underlying connective tissue by a basement membrane, which may be clear in some types or non-clear or absent in other types. Epithelial tissue has a high power of regeneration. Types of epithelium. Epithelial tissues are traditionally classified according to morphological characteristics and functions as follows. First, the number of cell layers. Epithelial tissue composed of a single layer of cells is termed simple epithelium, whereas epithelial tissue composed of several layers of cells is termed stratified epithelium. Second, the shape of the component cells determines the descriptive classification in simple epithelium, while in stratified epithelium, the shape of the outermost layer of cells and their nuclei determines the different types. For example, stratified squamous is present if the top layer is flattened, or stratified columnar is present if the top layer is columnar. Third, the presence of special specializations such as cilia or keratin. Cilia is present in simple or stratified epithelium as simple columnar ciliated or stratified columnar ciliated epithelium, while keratin is present always in stratified epithelium as stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. Fourth, the special function performed by the epithelium, secretory as in glandular epithelium, or the epithelium may act as a receptor as in NEURO-EPITHELIUM, or it may possess a contractile activity as in myoepithelium. Origin. Epithelial tissue is derived from the three embryonic layers, so it may be ectodermal as in skin, mesodermal as in serous membranes, or endodermal as the epithelium lining the GIT, gastrointestinal tract. Sites. The site of the epithelium differs according to the type and function performed by the epithelium. For example, simple epithelium is present in the lung alveoli. Glandular epithelium is present in the different glands. Functions of epithelium. Several functions are performed by the epithelial tissues. Protection, as in epidermis of the skin. Secretion, as the epithelium lining the glands. Absorption, as in the cells lining the gastrointestinal tract, the small intestine. Excretion, as in the cells lining the tubules of the kidney. Sensation, as in NEURO-EPITHELIUM of the taste buds. Reproduction, as the cells present in the gonads, the ovary, and the testes. Simple epithelium. General characteristics. Simple epithelium is defined as surface epithelium consisting of a single layer of cells. Simple epithelium is almost always found at interfaces involved in selective diffusion, absorption, or secretion. Simple epithelium provides little protection against mechanical abrasions. The cells of simple epithelium range in shape from extremely flattened to tall columnar, depending on their function. Types. Simple squamous epithelium. Structure. Simple squamous epithelium is composed of flattened, irregularly shaped cells with flat nuclei, forming a continuous surface. It is called squamous from comparison with the scales of a fish. It appears spindle-shaped in side view and square-shaped in surface view. Sites. Simple squamous epithelium is found in endothelium lining the heart, blood and lymph vessels, mesothelium of serous membranes as the pleura, lining the lung alveoli, lining in the kidney, the Bowman's capsule, and the thin limb of Henle's loop. Simple cubical epithelium. Structure. Simple cubical epithelium or cuboidal epithelium represents an intermediate form between simple squamous and simple columnar epithelium. The epithelial cells appear cubical with central rounded nuclei, having organoids for protein synthesis, that is, rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and secretory granules. Sites. Simple cubical epithelium is found lining the thyroid follicles, the convoluted tubules of the kidney, and the medium-sized ducts of the glands. Simple columnar epithelium. Structure. Simple columnar epithelium is similar to simple cuboidal epithelium, except that the cells are taller and the height of the cells varies from low to tall columnar, depending on the site and the degree of functional activity. The nuclei are elongated and may be located towards the base or the center of the cytoplasm. Sites. Simple columnar epithelium is found mainly in the digestive system, lining the stomach, the small and large intestines, the gallbladder, and the large bile ducts. Simple columnar ciliated epithelium. Structure. The free surfaces of the majority of columnar cells are supplied with cilia. Among the ciliated cells are scattered non-ciliated cells, having a secretory function. The cilia beat in a wave-like manner, generating a current which propels fluid or minute particles over the epithelial surface in one direction. Sites. Simple columnar ciliated epithelium is found mainly in the female reproductive tract, lining the uterus and the fallopian tubes. It is also found lining the bronchioles. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium structure. It is formed of crowded columnar cells. All of them rest on the basement membrane, but some of them do not reach the luminal surface. Such cells are capable of cell division, providing replacements for cells lost and damaged. The nuclei of these cells, however, are present at different levels, thus creating a false impression of stratification. Pseudo means false. Sites. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium is present mainly in the male genital tract, lining the vas deferens and the membranous male urethra. Pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium structure. The free surfaces of the majority of pseudostratified columnar epithelial cells are supplied with cilia. Sites. With motile cilia and goblet cells, pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium is present lining the upper respiratory tract, trachea, and bronchi. With non-motile cilia, stereocilia, pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium is found in the male genital tract, lining the epididymis. Recently, such cilia are found to be long microvilli. Stratified epithelium. General characteristics. Stratified epithelium is defined as epithelium consisting of two or more layers of cells. Stratified epithelium has mainly a protective function. The degree and nature of stratification are related to the kinds of physical stresses to which the surface is exposed. The classification of stratified epithelium is based on the shape and structure of the surface cells. Types. Stratified squamous epithelium. Structure. Stratified squamous epithelium consists of a variable number of cell layers, from 5 to 30 layers, which exhibit transition from a columnar or cuboidal basal layer with basal oval nuclei resting on a clear wavy basement membrane to a flattened surface layer with flattened nuclei. The intermediate cells are polyhedral with central round nuclei connected together by desmosomes. The basal cells divide continuously. Their offspring are progressively pushed towards the free surface where they are ultimately shed off. The most superficial layer may be covered with a horny layer called keratin, and the epithelium is called stratified squamous keratinized epithelium, or the surface layer may be fresh non-keratinized squamous cells, and the epithelium is called stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium is well adapted to withstand abrasions. Sites. Stratified squamous keratinized epithelium is found in the epidermis of the skin, external ear, vestibule of the nose, while stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium is found in the openings and moist body surfaces as the cornea, oral cavity, esophagus, anal canal, vagina, and tip of urethra. Stratified cubical epithelium. Structure. Stratified cubical epithelium is a thin, stratified epithelium which usually consists of only 2 or 3 layers of cuboidal or low columnar cells. stratified cuboidal epithelium is probably not involved in significant absorptive or secretory activity. Sites: stratified cubical epithelium is found lining the larger excretory ducts of exocrine glands such as the salivary glands. Also, it lines the larger ducts of sweat glands. Stratified columnar epithelium structure. It is similar to stratified squamous epithelium, that is, formed from basal columnar layer, intermediate polyhedral layers, but the surface cells are columnar and may be provided with cilia. Size: stratified columnar epithelium, non-ciliated type, is present lining the cavernous urethra and rectoanal junction, while stratified columnar epithelium, ciliated type, is found lining the fetal esophagus and soft palate. Transitional epithelium structure. Transitional epithelium has some features which are intermediate or transitional between stratified cuboidal and stratified squamous. It is highly specialized to accommodate a great degree of stretch. The basal cells are roughly short columnar or cuboidal, with basal oval nuclei. The intermediate cells are polygonal, with central rounded nuclei, and the surface cells are large and rounded, with convex free surfaces and may be binucleated, contain 2 nuclei. The basement membrane is indistinct, and the intercellular spaces contain a mucoid-like substance which allows gliding of the cells. In contracted state, the transitional epithelium appears to be about 4 to 8 cell layers thick, while in the stretched or relaxed state, transitional epithelium often appears only 2 or 3 cells thick. Both the intermediate and the surface layers are extremely flattened. The decrease in thickness detected, although the actual number of layers remains constant. Sites: transitional epithelium is present lining the urinary tract, the pelvis of the ureter, the urinary bladder, and the prostatic male urethra. Glandular epithelium, formed of specialized epithelial cells to produce secretion, and can be classified by several ways. First, according to the presence or absence of ducts. Exocrine glands, which possess ducts carrying their secretion to the surface. The ducts are present either within the lobules and are called intra-ducts, or between the lobules and lobes and are called interducts, as those seen in the salivary glands. Endocrine glands, which have no ducts, ductless, their secretion passes to the bloodstream either directly or indirectly through lymph vessels. Examples of endocrine glands are the thyroid and the suprarenal glands. Mixed exocrine and endocrine glands, which possess the 2 types, as the pancreas, which has an exocrine part formed of acini and ducts, and an endocrine part formed of the islets of Langerhans. Second, according to the number of cells. Unicellular glands formed of 1 cell, as goblet cells. On the other hand, multicellular glands formed of several cells, as the salivary glands. Third, according to the nature of secretion. Mucous glands, which secrete mucus, as glands of the tongue and goblet cells. Serous glands which secrete serous fluid, a watery albuminous fluid, as the parotid gland. Mixed glands or mucoserous glands which secrete mucus and serous fluid, as the submandibular and sublingual salivary glands. Glands have a special nature of secretion. The secretion may be watery, as sweat and lacrimal glands, waxy, as glands of the external ear, seminous glands, fatty, as the sebaceous glands, or cellular secreting glands, as the testes produce sperms and ovaries produce ova. Fourth, according to the mode of secretion, that is, the changes that occur during secretion. Merocrine glands, the cells of which are not destroyed in the process of secretion. The secretory granules are merely discharged through the cell membrane, as in the case of salivary glands. Apocrine glands, in which only the apical parts of the cells are destroyed in the process of secretion, as in the case of mammary glands. Holocrine glands, in which there is complete destruction of the cells in the process of secretion, and their renewal by other stem cells present in the basal part, as in the case of sebaceous glands. Fifth, according to the shape of the secretory units, acini, and the branching of the ducts, exocrine glands are classified into simple glands which possess a single secretory part and one unbranched duct. The secretory part may be tubular, sometimes coiled, alveolar or acinous or tubulo-alveolar. Simple tubular glands, as in the intestinal crypts, or simple tubular coiled glands, as the sweat glands. Simple alveolar glands, as in sebaceous glands. Simple tubulo-alveolar glands, which are rare glands in men. Simple branched glands, which have several secretory parts, all leading to one unbranched duct. Simple branched tubular glands, as the Fondig glands. Simple branched alveolar glands, as sebaceous and tarsal glands in the eyelid. Simple branched tubulo-alveolar glands, as glands in the oral cavity, buccal, labial, and lingual salivary glands. Compound glands or compound branched glands possess several secretory parts and a branching duct system. Compound tubular glands, as in the liver. Compound alveolar glands, as in lactating mammary gland. Compound tubulo-alveolar glands, as in the salivary glands. Summary on the different sites of glandular epithelium. All types of tubular and tubulo-alveolar glands, except the coiled type, are found in the digestive system. The shape and branching of the glands depend on the complex of function performed by them. For example, simple tubular gland is present in the intestine. Simple tubulo-alveolar gland is rare in men, while simple branched tubular gland is present in the stomach, as it has a more complex digestive function. And simple branched tubulo-alveolar gland is present in glands of the oral cavity, as the labial and buccal glands. Both compound tubular and compound tubulo-alveolar glands are present in the gastrointestinal tract glands. The liver, for example, is a compound tubular gland, while salivary glands and pancreas are examples of compound tubulo-alveolar glands. All types of alveolar glands are present on the surface of the body. For example, both simple and simple branched alveolar glands are present in sebaceous glands of thin skin and tarsal glands in the eyelid, while compound alveolar glands are present in lactating mammary glands. NEURO-EPITHELIUM structure. It is a special type of epithelium which during development has become highly specialized for perception of external stimuli. The free end of neuroepithelial cells is provided with hairs, microvilli. The basal part is intimately related to neurofilaments, which are the fine ramifications of sensory nerve fibers. These neuroepithelial cells are associated with another type of cells called supporting or sustentacular cells. There is also a third type of cells which is called the stem cells for renewal of the damaged cells. Sights. Neuroepithelium is concerned with sensation. Therefore, it is in the tongue, present in the taste buds for taste sensation. In the nose, it is present in the olfactory epithelium for smelling. In the internal ear, it is found in the organ of Corti for hearing, maculae of utricle and saccule, and crista ampullaris for equilibrium. Myoepithelium structure. Myoepithelium is a specialized type of epithelial cells which possess a contractile activity found around the basal parts of some secretory cells located between the basal lamina and the basal pole of the secretory cells, helping them to squeeze their secretion. They are contractile cells containing abundant actin filaments in their cytoplasm and are called basket cells. Sites. Myoepithelial cells are present surrounding the acini of salivary and mammary glands, helping to squeeze their secretion.